Brett here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to turn what you'd love to do into a profitable, sustainable and impactful business. So I'm going to cover a few key steps. Step number one is I'm going to show you the exact mindset blocks that you need to overcome and limitations that you must overcome so that you can make this happen. I'm also going to show you the exact step-by-step blueprint that allowed me to go from 0 to 10K in my first 30 days. Now these results aren't typical, but I'm going to show you how you can actually plug these strategies into your business. I'm also going to show you the authentic attraction model that allows me to connect and attract my dream clients. I'm also showing you the create and craft system. This is how you can duplicate the knowledge in your mind and extract your life lessons and your life experiences so that you can create your own transformational process. And you can then create from there a digital asset that gets you paid over and over and over again. So you're trading value for money as opposed to your time for money. So it takes you out of that time for money trap. So I'm also going to show you the exact conversation enrollment blueprint that that I've used to sign up clients from starting from $1,000, my very first program, all the way up to $12,000. So buckle in, this is going to be one of the most valuable videos that I've ever created. So right now, there's no better time in history than to live your purpose and share your gifts with the world. For thousands of years, the human voice and the human spirit has been suppressed. But now, in the age of information, we're at a point where now we can actually show up and we can make our own difference and impact in the world. And if enough of us come together, we could probably change the course of history. I believe that the coaching industry is the only industry on the planet that can actually make a difference in the world and to our future. And so now is your opportunity to play a higher role, to serve a higher purpose, and to make a higher income, doing something that is truly meaningful and inspiring to you. And humanity needs to show up now and show up for one another and stand up for one another. And so most people who start their coaching business or entrepreneurs, they end up trading their time for money, and they're prisoner of their business. And they thought that they were going to create this business, that they're going to have all this freedom and independence and this amazing life. But they're chained to their desk, they're taking all these calls all the time, and they haven't created the lifestyle that they would love, because they've built their life around their business as opposed to building your business around your life. So by the end of this video, I'm also going to show you where you can get your hands on the 100K purpose blueprint, so that you can create more money, meaning, and freedom in your life. So to understand how I got to this point in my journey, I'm going to take you on a little story and share with you what happened. So my journey began at 6 years old. I remember I'm walking into the kitchen, and my parents are just yelling at each other. And in that moment, I felt like completely invisible. I felt like it didn't even matter, and it was like I wasn't even there. And so I seen, there was crime, there was violence, there was drugs around me in the way that I was brought up. And I went to school, and I felt like this, I was this broken kid from a broken home. And so I kind of kept to myself. I was a bit of a black sheep. And I was ended up becoming the fat kid. I was picked on, I was teased, I was bullied. And then I ended up leaving school at 15 and started to work in physical labor jobs doing construction. And at 21, I nearly fell 30 meters to my death. And in that moment, it just shook me to my core, because I thought, well, I could have been splattered and flattened on the ground below in a box, never to see my family again. And I thought, what if I didn't make a difference? What if I didn't do anything meaningful with my life? And what if I didn't live my true purpose? And that was the point where my journey began, and I realized, like, I need to figure this thing out, because life is so short And the way that I was living my life, I was living my life to please everyone else, to keep everyone else happy, and to do what I thought was the right thing because my parents, because the people around me, they all did the same thing. I came from a family who just were blue collar workers, and I thought that that was the life that I had to live. But deep down inside of me, I knew that I was destined for more. I knew that I was here for something greater. And so after my near-death experience, it completely transformed my life. And there's a lot more to the story, which is in the scope of this video. But basically, I started learning about near-death experiences. That led me to learn about like meditation and the brain. And then I went to learn from one of the world's leading neuroscientists, one of the leading experts in human behavior. And I ended up, investing $17,000 into my very first mentor, who's one of the leading specialists on human development in Australia. And I just had this insatiable appetite to want to learn and understand the secrets of the universe. And so I went down this path of just meditating, and I just ended up like getting to a point where I knew I wanted to help people, but I wasn't taking action. I wasn't moving forwards. I was so focused on fixing myself and healing myself that I was at a standstill, and I was doing jobs and things that didn't truly inspire me. But deep down, I knew I wanted to serve, I wanted to make a difference, but to do that sustainably and do it in an impactful way, I had to have a profitable business. And learning about business was something that came later on in my journey. After me and some friends, we ended up moving into a 20-bedroom retreat center on 52 acres in the Perth Hills. And after we set that up, for a year, we pulled our blood, sweat and tears. We had a food forest with 5 different types of berries and all this organic food. And then literally after a week after we held our first event, it burnt down. And so I had to evacuate the building, and I had nothing but the clothes on my back, my guitar, my laptop, and a bag full of random journals. And I'm sitting at my friend's table when I get a call saying, hey, the fires have hit the bushfires. It's about 7 o'clock at night. And I remember sitting down, I'm like, shit. And in that moment, I knew I had to get clear on the hidden blessing and the lesson, because I realized through my studies and through my journey that every single thing that happens to us in life is specifically designed to evolve the immortal nature of our heart and soul. And so I sat down and I got the blessing. And it was in that moment that I realized that every single thought, every single action, every single choice, every single decision, every single thing that had happened to me at that point had led me to this moment. And I felt this overwhelming sense of gratitude that I was alive, that I had an able body, I could speak, I could hear, that I had access to all these things, running water, electricity, technology. I had people who loved and deeply cared about me in my life. And I realized I had a blank canvas that from that moment on, I could create anything I wanted in my life. And so I turned to my bag to the left of me with the journals, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna pull out these journals. And some were he's 7 years old, 7 months old, 7 weeks old, 7 days old. And I started flicking through them, and there was a bunch of 20, and I grabbed these random 4 ones, and I started reading through these journals and these books and these notes that I take from different talks and different seminars. As I'm reading all this, it dawns on me. Everything I was learning through after my near-death experience was about the science of purpose. I was trying to understand this thing called purpose because I was lost, I was lacking direction, and I had no meaning in my life. And after the bushfires hit, there was this something that was so big, and then I was like, okay, this is the blueprint. I have the blueprint to purpose. I'm sitting here, and these are the random journals that I grabbed, and this is what I'm here to do. And so I asked myself two questions: what would I love to do, and what does the world need? And merging those two things is actually going to reveal what is your true calling and how you can be financially rewarded to do so. And so I love talking about purpose. I think it's the most important thing, and humanity's lost its purpose. Collectively and individually, we don't know our purpose. We're kind of in this lost state, and we're in a transition where the world is shifting and the paradigm is shifting. And if our job, our only job, and the most important thing we can do as human beings is get clear on our fucking purpose, because without that, we're just a feather in the wind. We're just lost, and we have no power. We have no influence. We can make no difference. We have no true meaning in our life. We have no fulfillment, and this then leaves us playing into instant gratification. And so all the marketing and advertisers that they then advertise to our insecurities, to buy this, when I get this, then I'm going to get that, and then I'll feel happy and fulfilled. Then I'll feel enough once I get the house, the job, the car, the partner. Then I'll feel enough, and then I can finally, after I get this thing, then I can go out and do what I want to do. Then I can go out and do and make a difference. And we're constantly putting things off till tomorrow, and we think that that's the answer, but really the most important thing that you can do right now is sit down and get clear on what it is you would love to do with all your heart and soul, and how can you provide that, and how can you serve humanity in a way with what they need, and how does the world need that, and how you can merge those two things. So I'm going to show you and break you down exactly how you can do that in this video at a deeper level. And this is not some fluff, this is not some airy-fairy, wishy-washy stuff, and this is not some hardcore like business strategy that you need to do and implement this and just take action. This is what I believe the world is missing, is the balance between both. And without practical, implementable, and actionable steps, again, you're just off with the fairies. It's all crown chakra, no root chakra, as I say, or all clouds and no dirt. And so if you're on the other end of the spectrum, where you just like hustle and grind and push, what happens is you rely on motivation to get you through. And when things get tough, if you're just doing it for some money, what's going to happen is you're going to self-sabotage, and you're going to lose that motivation that you started with, and you're eventually going to give up, and then you're going to kick the shit out of yourself and say, well, why do I start these things and then give up on them? It's because if you're not clear on what it is you're truly here to do, then you will give up along the way. But if you know exactly what you're here to do, then you'll do anything to make it happen, and you'll do anything to overcome these steps. So to give you a few examples, one of my clients, Spencer, when he first came to me, he was making about $2,000 a month in his business. And once we got really, really clear and we refined his purpose, because people think, oh, I know my purpose, I know this, and they have this vague idea, and it's so generic, and it sounds like this, interesting, bundle of words, but really it doesn't have substance. It doesn't make them feel alive. It doesn't really connect deeply with them. And so we got clear on his purpose, and we got him from 2K months to 12K months. And I was also working with a client named Dr. Dave Turton, and he came through and he created his own transformational process to help people heal called Mind-Body Mastery. And he's an incredible example of a human being who's inspired. And then also with a client named Debbie Thorpe, and her daughter has a rare condition that has left her in a way where she can't actually function for herself. And so Debbie's been this woman who's just so committed to finding a way to help her daughter. She created her own healing center, and now she's helping people overcome challenges in their health. And so the reason why I share these stories is because they've implemented and understood what I'm going to break down with you in this video. And when they first came to me, these people were feeling lost and confused and lacking direction in their own life. And now they get to help people and inspire people doing something that they love. And that's what I'm about. I believe, like I said earlier in this video, we've lost our purpose collectively and individually. And our most important thing we can do is get clear on our purpose. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is, I've already alluded to this, but what's so important is you got to find out what it is you truly love, what's your highest value, what's your deepest calling, and become so crystal clear clarity on that, because that is the thing that's governing your whole consciousness. It's your body is giving you feedback in terms of illness and symptoms to get you to become authentic and aligned with that. Your sociology, so your relationships, is giving you feedback anytime there's challenges and things like that in your relationships, is giving you feedback, become authentic and aligned with your purpose. So your physiology, your sociology, your psychology, your mind is giving you feedback and constantly trying to awaken you to the truth of who you really are. And also your theology, your connection with God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is constantly giving you feedback along that path as well. And so when you're clear on what it is that you would love to do, by asking yourself a simple question and sitting with that question and asking your heart that exact question, what is it that I would love to do with all my heart and soul? And really refine that and continue to dig deeper and continue to really get clear until you get to a point where a tear of gratitude comes down your cheek and you're like, this is why I'm here. This is it. I know in my heart there's no other reason, because most people are listening to external forces and they're trying to look at other people and comparing themselves to other people. And when you look up to someone, you automatically look down upon yourself. And you then put what they're doing into your consciousness, into your subconscious mind, and you're like, oh, well, if I only do that, then I'll be fulfilled, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel enough, then I'll be wealthy and rich if I follow that person. But these people are actually messengers just showing you your own brilliance and your magnificence, because the only reason you see in them what you see and admire in them is also just a reflection of what you have in you. Otherwise, you wouldn't see it. So, getting clear on what you would love to do, and then asking, what does the world need? What does humanity need? How can I serve humanity? How can I help people? How can I make a difference by sharing what I would love, by contributing what I have to offer? So that is the very first foundational core step. And this is something that I take people through with my clients through, is the purpose activation system, so that you can actually peel back all the layers and the limitations that are holding you back from going to that next level. Which brings me to point number 2. To really bring this into the world, is you really have to understand the mindset blocks and limitations that show up in people. And so I'm really fascinated with the human brain and neurology. And so your subconscious mind is actually the physical location of that, because when people say subconscious mind, no one knows where it is. It's just this airy-fairy, abstract notion. It's like, what is the subconscious mind? Well, your subconscious mind sits in the back of the brain called the cerebellum. It's the reptilian brain. It has the most neural density, and it's the part of you that has all these hardwired habits and programs wired into you. When you are drying yourself off in the shower, for example, you have an automatic program where your conscious mind is thinking about whatever it is got to do that day, and you go through the same exact process every time you do it. And so these habits and these behaviors are governing your life. And so if you don't know how to identify and dissolve those limitations and actually overcome them, because we're so unconscious of what those things are that we then believe that we're our story. We believe we are these limitations, and we think, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, that's a big one when it comes to, attracting creating the business that we want and the income that we want and attracting the clients that we want. I'm not smart enough. I'm not sure how to do it. It's too hard. It's too difficult. I'm not good looking enough. Who's going to listen to me? All these limitations are what's keeping us stuck. And I've had all of them. I remember thinking, oh, what if people think my voice is annoying? And if I let that limit me, I would not be able to help all the people that I've helped in over 11 different countries since I started my coaching business 3 years ago. And so that's the most fundamental piece, is like having a system and a process that's repeatable, that can identify and dissolve those situations. Because you can't just sit around and wait for them to get over it, or depend on something outside of you. If you can sit down and you can actually have a process and do the work where it dissolves it rapidly and quickly, then you're able to move forwards in your life at a much faster rate and do what you're here to do. This next one is, I'm going to share with you right now what I call my 10K in 30 days system. So this is going to be a really practical segment where I break down what it is I actually did to get to 10K in 30 days. So step number 1, identify your avatar and who you were, the journey that you've been on for the last however many years. Something's been calling you, something's been inspiring, you've been learning all these different things, you've been collecting all these pieces of the puzzle. And go back to your very start of your journey where you started and think about that person. What were the thought processes they were having? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? What do they want to create? Where do they want to go? And that, from that point, then what you want to do is everything you've learned up until where you are right now, you want to look at all the steps that you've taken and we create your own blueprint. And so to do this, I'll share with you in the coming steps how you can actually create your own blueprint. So that's what happened next. I created my own blueprint, and then from there, within 4 days, I announced to my social medias, to my platforms, to people in my community. I said, hey, in 48 hours, I got some special news. I got an amazing announcement, and I hyped it up. I hyped up this announcement like no one knew what it was going to be. And so that then allowed me to then, on the Monday, I launched my very first program, Discover Your Purpose. And then I had an application where people jumped on board, and we had phone calls, and I empowered people to take action to move forwards in their life. And then from there, I had 2 weeks of a launch where I would speak to people and say, this is the date that it's launching on, and I would speak to heaps of people, enroll people, and I got my first couple of clients. And after the date of the launch, I continued to share and promote it, and within that two weeks after the launch, by that stage, I had my first 10 paying clients. The program was $1,000 for the first run, and I made 10K. And so, well, just a little bit over, because some were payment plans, which was $1,200, but some people paid in full for the $1,000. So from there, my job became delivering value and delivering results to my clients based upon the blueprint that I'd had set out before the launch. And then after they'd come through, I then asked them for feedback and testimonials. So I got a bunch of testimonials from people. And then that was how I created my business. And I have a bunch of testimonials from people, like I said, from 11 different countries. I've worked with people all over the world. And it all started with that process that I just shared with you. So very simple, very basic, very straightforward. Now, the fourth thing that I want to share with you is what I call the authentic attraction model. And this allows me to connect with my dream clients. So what you really want to do, coming back to that very first step, which is the avatar, your aligned avatar, the person who you know you can help exists out there in that world. There's someone out there right now that if they would be happy to give you money and pay you well to learn the knowledge that you've already acquired on your journey and on your life path. And so if you go through and you look at like what was the exact thought processes, the exact language patterns that I was saying to myself, and the conversation I was thinking to myself at that stage in my life, when I was having that, when I first started on my journey. What was the conversations that I was having? What was the language pattern? And get a list of those, and then go back and really deeply reflect on what was the emotions that I was feeling. So for me, it was like, what's my purpose? Like, how do I figure this out? What do I need to do? What if I don't do anything meaningful with my life? I feel trapped. I felt lost. I felt confused. I was lacking direction. These were the emotions. And so when you get really clear on the emotions, this is what is going to also, and you can articulate that, this is going to really resonate with the right people, that you feel inspired to serve and help and feel called to serve. So that's what I call the authentic, that's an element of the authentic attraction model, is really being able to tap in and speak into those things. The next piece is what I call the create and craft system. This is where you are able to extract your life lessons. You're able to look at your life experiences and your the knowledge you've accumulated in your life, and create your own personal, your own transformational process that you can turn into a digital asset where you can be paid over and over again for delivering value and results and an outcome for someone, as opposed to getting caught in the time for money trap. So we've all been conditioned to trade time for money. So this is a super important thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's having also, you want to have the mindset pieces, but you also want to have the entrepreneurial piece, which is more the strategy and more the practical and the more tangible elements, where now you're able to understand that entrepreneurship is about trading value for money. And if you can trade value for money, now you've taken yourself out of that time for money trap. And now you're looking at how can I create the most amount of value, and I can trade that for fair exchange and make the greatest amount of income. And so if you can create fair exchange, now you're in a place, in a position where you can make income doing something that you love, something that inspires you, because you've packaged up something that truly is meaningful to you and truly makes a difference in people's lives, because you've cared enough about another human being to go, you know what, I'm going to focus on serving, I'm going to focus on helping. All these limitations and these thoughts and these doubts that I've been carrying around with me, that don't actually matter. They're just a thought and a feeling that I've thought so many times that I now believe it's true, but your thoughts and feelings are not the truth. They're just feedback to let you know, hey, I have an imbalanced perception. There's something off, that it's bringing you to awareness, become more aligned and authentic. So how you create your own transformational process, I'm going to give you a really, really practical tool and exercise that you can do. So go through and write out all, really deeply reflect. Don't look it up. Don't Google this. Go deep within your own consciousness and ask yourself, what is the actionable, implementable, and practical tools that I have utilized in my life, and list them down. List them down. List all of them down that have made the greatest difference in your life. And you want to order them from the most impact to the least impact. Write down all the ones you've done that you can remember off the top of your head, because they've all, the one that comes to your mind first is usually going to be the one that's made the greatest difference, and you've remembered them for a reason. And so you want to write down them all, and then the next step is you want to look at how can you transform these. And you've probably transformed them by engaging with them, because everyone wants to create something original. So you've probably utilized tools and exercises and done things. You're like, how can I tweak this, make this more of my own? And then you want to create your own, your transformed versions, and then you want to see how you combine them. So in the age of information, there's not a lack of information that's stopping people from actually transforming their lives. It's a lack of implementation. And so I believe the reason why there's a lack of implementation is because there's overwhelm of information. If that isn't too complex to understand. Basically, sum it up. As human beings, we're information gatherers and problem solvers. So we're here to take in this information, we receive this information, and then we assimilate this information, and then we emit this information. We share this information by simplifying it and shining the light on the dark for the people who are in that darkness, who are going through that challenging time, who are going over some sort of thing. They want to solve some problem. They want to have a breakthrough. They want to have a realization. They want to learn some new skills that they believe is going to take them to that next level. And so you're shining the light on the darkness that you've overcome in your life. And so that's what I truly believe we're here to do as human beings. And so once you do that, then you can actually formulate your own unique process of transformation, and you can create a step-by-step process. And to give you an example, when I was communicating with people, I would say, look, here's my 7-year journey in a 6-week process, which is my very first course, Discover Your Purpose. And through that process, it was very easy for people to understand that, like, hey, this is the information I've accumulated over my 7-year journey, studying from some of the greatest minds alive today and throughout history, and I've simplified the information and I've put it into a 6-week process. And it's a timeless, ageless system that even my grandchildren could utilize and implement. And that's part of a big reason why I created, because it's information that will stand the test of time, because it's all related to human beings. And so the next thing I want to share with you is the enrollment conversation blueprint that's allowed me to go from 1K, charging 1K per client, all the way up to 12K. And so I didn't start at that. It was incrementally over time. I started to increase my prices, and I started to learn more and invest more. And what I would learn, I would assimilate that, I would transform that, and I would combine ideas, and I would create more beneficial and more impactful tools and resources and systems and actionable steps and simplified things that work for me on my journey. And so there's a real couple of key components that I take people through. So the selling mindset mastery, like how to really dissolve the negative connotations and the subconscious beliefs that don't serve us around sales, because everything other than a tree and a rock on the planet has been sold at some point. So if you have a phone, if you have a TV, if you have a couch, if you have a home, along those things being created, someone sold something at some point. And all sales is communicating to someone what they need in terms of what you need or what you want. And so if you can help other people get what they want, then you can get what you want. And so if you're able to communicate in an effective way and articulate yourself in an effective way, then show the value that you have to offer, and you can do it in a way where it's not needy or desperate, but in a way that you inspire people to take action, then you've mastered one of the highest income skills on the face of the planet, because it's just words. And so the other piece that I teach people is the actual blueprint, how to break down. So how to build connection, ask questions, prescribe solutions, and then empower action. I call it the BAPE method, B-A-P-E. And then from there, once people go, hey, they give you permission, hey, would you like me to tell you a little bit how the program works? Then what goes in is you go to what I call the perfect pitch process. Now this is how you actually lay out your program, and you communicate it in a way where people see the value that you have to offer. Okay? And so that's a really, really important, and all that is out of the scope of this video and this training. But I wanted to share that with you because it's such a powerful tool and a powerful resource that if you know how to do that, you never have to worry about money or income again. And if you avoid learning that and you don't take that seriously, you will forever be a slave for someone else, building someone else's vision, barely making an income, barely getting by, because you haven't learned the skill that actually has been proven the test of time. Because everything, like I said, has been sold. Every religion, every spiritual idea, every concept, every person you look up to, everyone who talks about manifestation and abundance, they're selling their ideas, they're selling their philosophy, they're selling their books. And if you don't learn that skill set, then unfortunately you're going to be in la la land, wishing things change but being disappointed because things are staying the same. And so this is where I want to break into, like, when I actually take people through Fulfill Your Purpose, my 16-week one-on-one mentorship program. I take you through all the mindset training, and I help you build out your marketing, help you build out your sales system, and I help you build out your delivery system. And so if you want to find out more, you're more than welcome to message me on Facebook and just send me the message Fulfill. And I'll also give you the 100K blueprint, where I'll show you how you can hit 10K per month in your coaching or mentorship business. So I want to share with you 5 things that you must do and implementable action steps that you can take away today. So 5 things that you must do. So you must align to your purpose. You must align your purpose with your business, because if you try to start something because you just want the money, you'll eventually give up when it gets hard. And if it's aligned to your calling and to your purpose in your heart, you will find a way to do whatever it takes, and people will feel that and resonate with that, and people want to be around you. People want to be to buy your services, your products, and they'll want to, it's like a moth to a flame. Next piece that you must do is align what you would love to do with what humanity needs. So what does the world need that you would love to share? Get really, really clear on that, and you're one step closer. You're ahead of the crowd. You're ahead of the pack. Step number 3 is create a step-by-step blueprint based upon your own journey and transformation. I give the example, my 7-year journey, learning from some of the greatest minds alive today throughout history, and I've condensed it, I've simplified it, and I've put my 7-year journey into a 6-week process. Step number 4 is to create a launch party where you're able to generate a heap of energy around you and somewhat increase your vibration. And so there's a really incredible video where I learned it's around esoteric wealth, and there's 3 simple steps to energetically attract more money. So first number step is to create energy, create movement, create some sort of inspiration around what you're doing. Start filming, start documenting, start writing, start sharing wisdom with the world, and you have access to do that for free on your internet, with your technology that you have. You have a supercomputer in your hand. Literally, there's a reason why you're born in this era. Like every single one of your ancestors wouldn't have dreamed to be able to have something like this. So increase your energy is step number 1. Step number 2, people will be drawn to you. Step number 3 is find a way to build them. And so if you have a process and a transformation, a step-by-step process based upon your own knowledge and wisdom that's cost you nothing to create, you're literally sitting with potentially $1 million business, $1 million ideas, $1 million potential already within your mind. And so step number 5 is then obviously jump on calls with people and enroll them with a proven sales system, whether it's mine or someone else's. Find a proven sales system and do whatever it takes to deliver results. There's a few things also that you must not do. So don't waste time and money trying to figure it out and guess it on your own. Find a mentor, someone that you resonate with, someone that you're aligned with, and find someone who can help you so that you can get there faster. Without all the guesswork, without all the doubt, without all the uncertainty. Step number 2, don't waste time reading more books, watching more YouTube videos, and overindulging in mental masturbation. Why this is important is because you can stay stuck there, getting all these dopamine kicks, thinking, oh, I'm learning more, I'm evolving, but really you're just in the same spot you were a year ago, just with more knowledge in your mind, talking about new ideas and concepts that you've learned, but really not moving actually forwards in your life at all. Step number 3, don't listen to the voice of your conditioning, but listen to the voice of creation. So even when that voice tells you to stop, the voice of condition tells you to stop, that voice in creation, you want to listen to that, because that's going to help you to keep on going and focus on the people that need your help as opposed to focusing on your fears. All right? Focus on the people that need your help instead of focusing on your fears. Step number 4 is don't waste time building a fancy website using expensive software or a complex funnel. Simplicity is key, and I show the exact free tools and free software. You don't need to spend any money to create your own online mentorship or coaching business that's profitable, sustainable, and impactful. Step number 5, don't meditate and try and manifest your business into existence, because I tried that, doesn't work. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, together we can all make a difference. By focusing on our purpose, we can actually change the course of humanity. I believe that truly, and I believe that this is what more and more people are becoming aware and doing in the world, and now it's our time to make a difference in the world. Peace. I hope you enjoyed this.